studying guerrilla behavior, determined to give Joe a distinct personality.
And you have to do that by putting little nuances, and a lot of that is created on the set. You can plan it in a general sense with storyboards, but all the little details you put in as one pose suggests another pose.
While never equaling King Kong in popularity, Mighty Joe Young is considered by many to be technically superior. And in 1949, Willis O'Brien's work on the film was recognized with an Academy Award. For Ray Harryhausen, Mighty Joe Young was just the beginning. In a collaboration that spanned 4 decades, he and producer Charles Schneer brought ancient mythology to life.
Jason and his band of Argonauts, the mightiest warriors the world of adventure has ever known, in search of the fabulous magic Golden Fleece.
Harryhausen gave stop-motion animation a popular mystique when he coined the term dynamation. Audiences were enthralled with his incredible creatures, unaware of the almost superhuman effort that went into bringing them to life.
Kill them all!
For the climax of Jason and the Argonauts, Harryhausen animated 7 sword-wielding skeletons in one of the most complex stop-motion sequences ever. He was able to average only 13 frames a day, taking 4.5 months to complete this scene. One of Harryhausen's favorite characters is Medusa, who appears in Clash of the Titans. For each frame, he had to manipulate and keep track of the more than 200 joints in her head and body. Today, Ray Harryhausen is recognized as a grand master of stop-motion animation. Since the 1940s, his artistry has packed theaters with audiences who came for one reason: to marvel at his mythological movie magic.
I'm particularly pleased when some people who are not in the business come up and say that you made my childhood. One man even said, my grandfather took me to see your picture. So it made me feel like 102. But it's a thrill to think we made more than just an entertaining film. It affected people's lives, and I think that's what films do.
Right now, this character's got to walk into the scene and actually start eating these apples off the tree, and then exit the scene.
The basic process of stop-motion animation is still practiced in much the same way as it was in the days of Willis O'Brien and Ray Harryhausen. At Kyoto Brothers Productions in Burbank, Kim Blanchett is animating this Megatherium, a prehistoric sloth-like animal for a television commercial.
This pointer is actually my reference point on how much I've moved the puppet.
But while traditional stop-motion animation tools like the surface gauge are still used, today's animators have a distinct advantage over their predecessors. In recent years, they can utilize video cameras mounted alongside the film camera, which freeze and store the previously exposed frame.
Okay, I got it.
After 410 exposed frames, the animation sequence is ready for review. While taking Kim several days to complete, this 16-second film clip is considered a first attempt. Kim and animation director Steve Kyoto will now begin to fine-tune the creature's movements.
So what the director wants to do, the eating is fine, the walking out is fine, everything's fine. They just want to work on the entrance, the style of the walking. They think he walks a little too light-footed. His clothes are so big that they want the feet to bend a little bit inward, so he's walking on the inside, the outside of his feet, and then drag the feet as much as you can to make them look heavy.
After making sure he has the right moves with his own body, Blanchett is ready to animate the entire sequence again. Frame by frame, he infuses the Megatherium with the desired gait and personality. At the center of recent technological advances is a leading contemporary stop-motion animator, Phil Tippett. In his Berkeley, California studio, Tippett designs heroes and villains for some of Hollywood's most popular films.
My main inspiration came in 1950, what was it, 3 or 4, I think, or 5, when King Kong came on television. And in 58, I saw Harryhausen's Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. I just fell in love with the surreality of the objects moving themselves. I had no idea what generated them, but it was just kind of a passionate fixation.
An original member of George Lucas's Industrial Light and Magic, Tippett, along with ILM colleague John Berg, was put in charge of the stop-motion animation department for The Empire Strikes Back. Their first challenge was to design and animate the giant Imperial walkers. Scenes which were then rendered as computer-generated imagery.
Ultimately, no matter what tool you're using, whether it's stop motion, go motion, computer graphics, you're learning how to work with the limitations of the tools that you have. You have a mental image in your mind of what the thing should be moving like, and you're constantly moving. No, it shouldn't be like that. It should be like this. And just trying to keep all this stuff moving towards what you see in your mind's eye.
As they continue to create movie magic one step at a time, Phil Tippett and a handful of other effects artists are carrying on the legacy of the pioneers of stop-motion animation.
Willis O'Brien started it, and I tried to follow with the concept that we're using stop-motion photography for our leading characters. Now, when you think of King Kong, a mass of metal with rabbit fur and sponge rubber on it, not a real person. His name is up there in lights with Greta Garbo, Clark Gable. He's part of Hollywood legend.
Ladies and gentlemen,